And welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome back to the Toffee Blues podcast. With Harry still on holiday, we've got a guest co-host in Cal here, mate. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. I'm not too bad. I'm glad I think I'm glad the football's back, even though it obviously wasn't the start all of us really wanted. But yeah, we'll dive straight into that, I guess. I think yeah, there was a lot of it. I think there was a lot of excitement going into this season, like over the summer and stuff. And obviously, we knew there was going to be a lot of changes, and the side that ended the season was probably going to be quite different. We were hoping to the one that started, but obviously, I think we're probably not as far along with transfers as we maybe want to be. But again, we'll get into that as it goes on. But just how were you feeling in the days leading up to the first game, and did that kind of change a little bit once the lineup obviously got announced?
Yeah, 100%. I think I was quite confident going into the game because I probably expected a much different approach for David Moyes. I feel like he went into this game very cautious. Um, it felt very much more like I saw someone use the example, back in the day when a manager didn't used to get what they'd want, they'd just put together not like in a starting 11 in an attempt to lose, but in a way where it's like, what am I meant to do with this? It felt very much like that. Of course, the news of Mikalenko, it was expected to be available and then wasn't. Adam Asno picking up that, seemingly picking up an injury as well. I think we were put in a really difficult position. I do think personally, I'm not a manager, but I do think Moyes um, could have managed this game a lot better. I think we'll get into that, but I think it was a really disappointing performance, even in the good bits, because it was just the Leeds were, and I know it's ironic because we lost. Leeds were terrible. They were so bad because this might be the worst I've seen us play, including some of the Dyche games. It was that bad in my opinion. It was like the worst of Dyche in a way of not in the way we played. I think we were much more even in this game, much more at least attempted to go forward in the second half. But I felt like there was no game plan when we got in the final third. It was just shrug and hope something went well. I just think it was really disappointing. I think it should have been managed a lot better. But I think there are caveats in the fact that we still need multiple signings, and I think the midfield showed that perfectly. The double pivot. I think it shows how much help we need the left back, obviously. I think it was very silly playing a right-footed central midfielder at left back compared to the left-footed winger we have. But of course, Gan has some experience at right back. Yeah, I just think it was. I think it could have been managed a lot better because I do think, especially in that second half, um, we really should have taken something, especially in those phases in the second half where we really took control of the game.
Yeah, I completely agree. It did feel very much like the old days of Deitch in a way. I think we obviously knew that it was a sort of game where you could you could have a potential banana skin in being away at a newly promoted side. The crowd was obviously going to be up for it under the lights, and you kind of see it's typical really for like the first 10 or 15 minutes for the away side to kind of just try and weather that storm a little bit. But I think Moyes said as much in the interview afterwards that we needed to like transition away from that a lot quicker than we did. Pretty much for the whole first half, we were pretty much camped in our own half and just trying to soak up anything Leeds could throw at us. And obviously, as you say, they didn't really create too many clear-cut chances or particularly look like scoring at any point. But the lack of impetus from us was, yeah, it was frustrating, wasn't it? And obviously, as you say, you can't really account for both your left backs being injured going into the season. That is obviously a little bit of misfortune, but obviously, as you say, the midfield probably wasn't as strong as it should have been. With obviously Garner having to move, meaning Iwobi had to start. I think we've all probably accepted he's not ready to be starting many games this season for us yet. So yeah, like I said, it definitely showed that the squad still needs a lot of work before the end of the window, and obviously the deadline's getting a little bit closer. But so yeah, like I say, you said that he got the approach wrong. What different things do you think you would have done going into this
Uh,
game?
if let me, I think first of all, Dwight McNeil should have been at left back. The idea never really crossed my mind until someone else mentioned it. But I thought he does work hard defensively when he needs to. I think there's a bit of a stigma around him that he doesn't. I think he's shown when he's played on the wings, he's willing to track back, he's willing to defend. I don't. Dan, what did Dan James really do? Let's be honest. I feel like a lot of Leeds' best parts came through the middle, through Stack, Tanaka, even though Tanaka skied quite a few shots through Ampadu. The White Nonto was okay, but Dan James, it was just running a straight line. It was. I genuinely think an under 21s player could have defended left back could have defended that better than Garner. Just in the term that when we're on the ball, I don't think Garner defended badly. I should make that clear. But you're putting a right-footed central midfielder at left back when an entire approach of our game was break quickly. He can't break quickly because he's having to pivot onto his stronger foot, and then the pass down the line's harder because he can't play it outside. He has to play inside. It's like it all of a sudden it was a mess, and that's the nicest way to put it. In Moyes' defense, I don't think he could have expected that much of a stinker from Beto, even though he spent most of the preseason slagging him off. Um, I think the changes, if we just got off this lineup, I think the defense was fine defensively. I think Michael Keane actually played quite well. Besides, there was one silly pass to one of the midfielders, I believe, where he just passed it straight to him. Besides that, was fine. Tarkowski was fine. Pickford was Pickford. Um, but I just think it's the first minute. It was so stupid in hindsight because it was like you watched the pepping of him be chinked off every time he touched the ball. The first time he touched the ball, he kind of gets it, looks around, doesn't know what to do, and passes backwards. All of a sudden, the more and more he seemed to touch it, the more and more it was almost like he could feel the Villa coming back. He tried a few outside of the boot passes that were quite good. He tried driving at players. If you bring him on 10 minutes earlier, I feel like it took him 15 minutes to adjust. If in the 75th minute he's like, okay, I can feel it now. We've got 15 minutes more to take it to him to drive at two fullbacks who Goodmanson looked good, but Jaden Bogle, even in the Championship, had a reputation of not knowing how to tackle. You're putting one of the best dribblers in the Premier League on a right back who has a stigma. I haven't watched a lot of Jaden Bogle. I can't say I remember he was good on FM a few years ago. That's the best I can give. Who has a reputation of not being the best defensively, and you go, yeah, we're going to persist with Alcaraz, who, yeah, some will say were the best out of the front three to be the three behind the striker. I don't think any of them were particularly good. I think you could pick any of them and go, yeah, he'll do. He were the better one. So I think it was one where I think Alcaraz, especially, I don't remember when he got the yellow. I've just got the lineup up here. But I just feel like it was too late. Barry should have come on earlier, especially since, this is a striker who I know Leeds have a big team. His big thing was this is one of the best strikers at the air in Europe the last season. If we need to go to a game, we were going to start whipping it in and crossing it, or should have. McNeil probably should have come on as a fullback just to push people forward. I would have much rather us went for it a bit more and then conceded than us just limping to it. And then, of course, the penalty happens, which it wasn't a penalty, in my opinion. There's nothing he could have done there. And I know people are talking about the leaning. The ball was deflecting. He was already going that way when he'd originally shot. You can't account for a deflection. His arm's in a natural position. It hits like here as well. It's just under the threshold of what would be a handball. And I don't really like if he would have tried shoulder it, I bet they wouldn't have given it because they'd have said, oh, well, it was his shoulder. But it's just, I feel like it was really disappointing in the sense that the game was there for the taking. I do think a lot of Leeds' players performed really well. I thought Stack was good. I thought Goodmanson was good. I thought the goalkeeper seemed all right. It's not like Leeds were crap because in some areas they were good, but going forward, they didn't really offer anything. A lot of us said it without that penalty. That game probably could have gone another 180 minutes. Neither team would have scored. So it's just, I don't get how, and I think this has been a criticism of Moyes for bloody hell since he was last our manager probably. There's a clear point in the game where, obviously through the TV we can see it a little bit better than the guy in the sideline because we've got a full view of what's going on. But you can see tempo change in our favour, and the right change could have put that into overdrive, but instead we kind of faltered and just accepted what was. It was almost like we were accepting a point, and then we paid for that in a sense.
Yeah, yeah, so I completely agree with a lot of it there. I think I said before the game that I would have preferred to see Barry start over Better. I think his profile would have suited what we were trying to do a lot more. And as you said, like it just wasn't sticking for him at all. The defenders were able to deal with him easily,
He
and
he can't control the football. He
yeah,
just actively can't. And I said this, and I don't want to go on another big rant while you're trying to get your point across. But I made this point, and it's that remember he used to get for his first touch. Beto makes Lukaku look like Maradona in terms of the touch. I love the guy, and but he's a bench striker. He is a bench striker. He's one who can come off the bench in the 60, 65th minute when defenses are getting tired and cause absolute havoc. But I'm or one game. I'm at the point where I think Barry has to start. Um, I think Barry has to start the next game, just to get a glimpse of what he can do. If he's crap as well, then okay, we'll start better. But I feel like now, after a performance that bad, it'd be mental for Moyes not to start Barry against Brighton.
yeah, I agree. I was because I think you know he offers very different things. I think we've already seen just from the friendlies that his hold up plays a lot better than Better as it is, and we saw Deitch try and use him in that role so many times that it never worked out for him. And as you say, I think he's a lot better. Either you know when we're trying to play balls in behind, or as you say, sending him on late on to just try and stretch the defense with like tired legs, as you say, and cause havoc in the penalty area with his physicality. But yeah, Monday definitely wasn't his game for me, and I think that was definitely on Moyes. And the fact he got to play the whole game was definitely the wrong
It's
decision.
down there for his worst. I think you could probably make a case for it being his worst. To be honest, I think I can't. There's not many other games that pop to my mind. I know he's had a few stinkers, but it was just awful to watch. It was one where even in the first half, you were like he can't he has to go off because we were trying to play it to his feet, but we weren't playing it in a way where he'd receive and run with it. We were pinging it into his feet, and then he couldn't control it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's it. But it definitely wasn't a game suited to his style, to be fair. But as you say, he wasn't able to impose himself in any way at all. So. Yeah, and I think as well with Garner with Garner being out left, we obviously weren't trusting that left side at all, and that meant Njai was isolated for a lot of the game and just unable to make any real impact. Dewsbury Hall looked quiet. Yeah, it wasn't a game where anyone really like particularly stood out, apart from as you say maybe the defenders, which is obviously the sign of a very negative performance. So yeah,
I
as we say, it's
think
gone.
Dewsbury Hall, he did have a chance, and I don't remember what it was, and I've just had to like click on his little football profile here to get it. He did have a chance. He created a chance, and I do remember it being quite decent.
Mm,
I think with Dewsbury Hall, what I liked was I think he did the basics quite well. I'm just double checking now because apparently he can do distance covered on thingy now.
mm,
I'm pretty sure he's up there for most distance covered in the game. He is up there, and I think one of the big concerns we had about him was is he going to tr cover the space like Decore did? I don't think anyone will. Decore on the ball was terrible last season, but the one credit we can give him is he would cover so much ground, and it's why he ended up being so useful. The one credit I can give Dewsbury Hall in this position is he looks like he's willing to cover the ground, willing to help out in defence, pick up the ball. I do think against in a game like Brighton, where I hope we're going to adopt a much more counter-attacking style. I don't think we can look for we have the players to go for a quick counter-attacking style unless Barry is rapid.
mm.
You know, I haven't seen much of him, but you know, it's one where I feel like the line, and I think we might get to this, but I feel like the lineup for Brighton is blatantly obvious. Unless I can imagine Mikolenko's back, but unless someone else spontaneously combusts.
Yeah, I think on the point about the energy, I think the idea seems to be obviously we didn't get to see it because Garner had to get moved, but I think either Garner or fingers crossed we bring someone in, and obviously we'll get to that in a minute, but someone to do in that sitting role, and you have Dewsbury Hall and Garner just a little bit ahead of them. Garner's energy and Dewsbury Hall's creativity and like ability on the ball, it's kind of like that almost replaces Decore in a way, and then you have the more technical players out wide who you get the ball to dribble forwards, and then obviously the striker. I imagine I think. Got the impression based on how we played against Roma for like the first hour or so that's probably how we're going to be lining up this season. And I think Garner looks a little better in that sitting role, but ideally, I'd really like to see someone who is, a natural at that,
Yeah,
a real natural number six. So I think, that's a perfect, way to get onto this. Obviously, we know just how much still needs to be done in the transfer market. We mentioned the six there, but what are the other positions that you think needs to be done, and what are you expecting will actually be done if they're different,
uh,
which I imagine they probably are.
I think the three key positions are the three that are going to get done. So a defensive midfielder, a right back, and basically that entire right triangle needs to get redone. And then obviously, you can rotate Gay and Garner around depending on the opposition. Then if we're playing Burnley, you play Garner and the sitter. Gets dropped to him. Yeah, he has a lot of energy, but I don't think Garner lacks that. But a bit better on the ball. So I think I just think you're right. I think we need a sitter who has a bit of range with his passing. Someone who, if let's say we sign a nice little pacey right winger. Hopefully we do. I'm going to use Malik Fofana because I saw something about it. Leon putting a price tag on him today. Probably not going to happen. Saying that no Champions League clubs look like they're interested. Say that happens really quick, really dynamic. A defensive midfielder who is solid at just sitting. We're not asking for a tackle machine. We've got that. Someone who just does the job of sitting in front of the defence and protecting well. If he can then pick up the ball from the centre half, spot that immediate bang. I don't need tiki taka 1-2-1-2. It's not how we play. It's not. I don't think it's how we could ever play. I just don't think it'd ever work. I think even if an Everton team won the league, it'd be based on direct football. And I just think having someone there who can pick up the ball, scan in front, and just bang. It's why I think the idea of Dewsbury Hall was a bit DM first, just because he can do that. He showed it. Just the little ways he's get the ball, look around, play a pass. You can tell when someone's a good little player just from the little things they do. And I think Grealish showed that in his little cameo, and Dye showed it all last season. I think Jusby Hall showed it. So I think the thing is, and then of course right winger, it's just I love Alcaraz, but I can't do it. I can't watch him on the right wing. Um, I think he's much better as again same thing as Beto. Will play some games because players get injured here all the time. Um, but as someone who can come off the bench with loads of energy, still technically really good, and still can create chances. Did it last season. Him and Beto had quite a good link up when he was in the 10 last season. And then a right back, it's just Jacob Wright, he's not a right back, man. And I know some people try to go, well, he did all right last season. He did all right. It wasn't world beating like some of our fans tried to make out it was. He was a decent right back at times, but he's also not the quickest. And he did well, for example, he did well against who was it? He did well against a really good left winger, I remember.
Mm.
Oh, who was it? I don't remember, but I remember him having a really good game, and I think that's where it started a little bit. But it's just you put him up against a really dynamic left winger who can cause him some trouble. Don't be shocked when he gets dribbled past 4 times, and then I fan slag him off. He's a centre half. He's the centre half who's going to come in for Tarkowski next season, maybe the season after, and play alongside Bradford. That's his role. He's the third choice centre half for now. Potentially could be second choice by the end of the season. You never know. But yeah, a right. I think we need overlapping fullbacks so badly, and it's why I like the idea of Asno so much because Mikalenko's okay at it, but the final he's not bad at overlapping. It's just the final ball's not that good. We need a right back who can get it, and it doesn't have to be a looping cross. Even if it's just a reverse cross the box low into the feet of someone. Just someone who can do that. And there are loads of right backs out there. And we mentioned this before. I hate the Premier League experience thing now. I'm getting sick of it. It's like at the point where I'm sorry, if you're a right back who has energy and can pass, you can play in the Premier League. Yes, you can because they're the biggest things you need. Um, but I don't know. I'm getting less and less optimistic about the transfer window as it goes on. You know, what have we got now? 11, 12 days,
Yeah, something like
probably.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, it's that right little triangle. It's right wing, DM, right back. And then I honestly think think we could push for the top half finish with those improvements. If, of course, our other signings pan out as well.
Mm. Well, yeah, that's yeah. I think we've all pretty much accepted they're the three positions that need to be done, and whether it's even if we dip into the low market or whatever. And I'm just hoping that it's one of those cases where we're waiting for like some dominoes to fall, maybe, and like. Obviously Palace are now in the market for players and stuff now with Eze going and stuff that these big moves that have been kind of talked about for a while throughout the league, once they happen, maybe some more players will become available potentially. That's what I'm hoping for anyway, because the dribbling stuff still rolls on. There's no real concrete links to any right backs, which is worrying, and similarly with defensive midfielders now that Douglas Luiz looks like it's pretty much like done and dusted him going to Forest. That's pretty much that one like done. So yeah, there's still a lot that needs to be done before the end of the window, and as you say, they're almost like necessities, but will improve the team so much. I imagine so. So yeah, fingers crossed that gets done. But well, looking ahead to Sunday, you've mentioned that you think the team is pretty much picks itself for Sunday. So yeah, go ahead. What team would you be putting out?
So it'll be the same back line, but hopefully with Mikalenko. If not, put McNeil there. I don't like the idea of McNeil being phased out of the squad. I still think he's a very good player with a lot to offer. And you look at players like Jacob Ramsey going for 40 million. I'm sorry, no one's convincing me Jacob Ramsey much better than Dwight McNeil. You're not. I'm sorry, but So I still think he has so much to offer in maybe in more of a rotational role. But for example, if we're playing someone like Barry, having McNeil to overlap and then whip in one of those crosses, which he's very good at, to one of the strikers who is seen as one of the best aerial threats in Europe based on proven statistics. Like people can say, oh, well, it's in the league. Da, da, da. He's in the top 1% of strikers for aerial duels won. That will translate. If that drops to the top 15%, guess what? He's still an unreal striker in the air. You know what I mean? So it's like I'd put McNeil at left back if Mikalenko's not available. Then you can do Garner and Gay. And I'm going to be honest, if Garner has to play left back again, I'm playing Harrison Armstrong instead at the DM role. Because people will go, well, he's not a six. That's where he played for Derby last season. That's where he was one of the best players in this position in the league for the second half of the season. Yes, he can play. And honestly, I'm being serious. Armstrong has probably played more first team football than Robinham at this point
Yeah, it's probably
with
not
his
far
loan
off.
spell.
Yeah,
And I know he's young, but he just offers a better dynamic next to Gay than Robinham does. And I will give Robinham credit. In that second half, he started to look a little bit better. He felt like he got into the game. He had a nice little moment on, I think it was the left or right wing, where he dribbled through three of them. But he needs a loan. That Sheffield United loan needs to happen. I feel like that could do him a load of good. Armstrong needs a loan as well, but I'd rather play him than Robinham at this point, to be honest. But Garner Gay as the two DMs, and then it's uh yeah, Illiman and Die on the right, Dewsbury Hall in the middle, Jack Grealish on the left, Barry up front. Jack Grealish will start. I think it's just he didn't have a preseason. He has to start this game because if he is going to need 20, 25 minutes to shake off the Pep cobwebs, the Pep PTSD, then we can't be bringing him off the bench for 20-minute cameos.
yeah. I completely agree, and obviously, as you say, we no one wants to see Alcaraz out on the right again if we can avoid it. But imagine even if you get an hour out of Grealish, like you just say, I know he's still getting some match sharpness in him after basically not having a
Yeah, yeah.
pre-season, but.
Even if it was like so, say Grealish starts at say McNeil starts at left back because Mikalenko's not fully fit. Grealish gets 60 minutes. Grealish comes off for Mikalenko. Mikalenko goes to left back. Dwight McNeil goes to left wing. Problem solved.
Yeah, yeah. To be fair, it can be as simple as that, I guess. So yeah. I mean, if and provided we play that team, have you got a prediction for the game on Sunday?
It's at the new ground in
Yeah, first time.
3-2 Everton.
I mean, three
I
three
think
goals. I'll take that.
I think it is going to be one where Brighton are gonna they're going to go for you. And we've showed it in the past. We can score goals against Brighton.
Mm.
They seem to be the one team we just know how to score goals against.
Yeah.
And I do think if that front four can click, there's no reason that front four can't score 3 goals. You've got an £100 million player, a £40 million player in the middle, a player who should be worth 40 million on the right, and a £30 million striker who's got loads of potential. Like I know it's the David Moyes system, but Brighton are going to want a lot of the ball. They're going to try play the risky passes. And although we don't have the most pace in the world, we have bodies we can throw forward who are technically really good. So it's one of those where I am completely coping on this one. We are going to get a Jack Grealish goal from outside the box. I'm calling it now. He's going to bend one in top corner, and it's going to be. But I do think it's going to be one where Brighton are going to be really in it. I don't. I think they looked okay against Fulham, quite good actually, but they had the same problem as Leeds. It just didn't look like they were ever going to get that second goal. Like they got that first one, and then it just felt like the second one was never going to come, and then they fell apart at the end of the game. They did exactly what we did,
Mm.
but with gave away a penalty at the end, or was it a penalty?
No,
No, I
they
don't
they
think it.
score from a corner.
Yeah, this well gave away a silly set piece at the end.
Mm.
Bang, Mooney scores 97th minute. There you go. I do think we can win this game, and if we want to be pushing towards the top half of the table, we have to beat a team like Brighton, who is already in that position.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I'll go a little more balanced and say we'll get a draw, a 1-1. But I'm not entirely sure what the situation with Mikalenko is. I do think that could be a big factor in it. I'm sure we'll find out more in Moyes' presser, which obviously,
Yeah,
as at time of recording, isn't out yet.
if it is McNeil against Minter, then my prediction might change entirely then.
Yeah.
But if it's I trust Mikalenko defensively enough. I know
Mm.
he gets pelters, but I do trust him enough defensively
Yeah.
to be able to hold him off.
Yeah, I agree. So fingers crossed that we have a good opening competitive match for the first game at the new ground. And just to round off this podcast, then I'm going to do a quick lineup quiz for you, which
No.
I'm sure you're looking forward to. I can tell by your face. Um, yeah, I thought with it being Moyes' first full season back, I thought I'd go back to the last opening home match that Moyes would have taken
Oh,
charge of
wait,
in the
no, I might do
season.
well at this actually.
Yeah, so going back 2012-13 season,
Oh,
opening
no, I
day
might do well
Monday
there.
night against United, 1-0 win, memorable
Oh,
day.
wait a minute, I think I can do this.
Yeah, it's
If
one of
this
my
if this is the Fellaini goal, I think I can do this.
is that one.
Um,
So there's one in for you straight
so
away.
Tim Howard in goal.
Yeah,
Seamus Coleman would have been playing right back at this point, would he?
Coleman was on the bench, so you don't lose a
Oh,
life for that. You got 3 lives. You don't lose a life for that one.
is this one of the centre backs at right backs? Is it Hibbert? Hmm. Oh, I don't know now. Um, I'm going to go Jagielka Distin.
Jagielka and Distan both played. That's 4.
Yeah, Baines left back.
Yeah,
Um, 2012-13. When did no Barry came in the first Martinez season? Um, James McCarthy.
no,
Was that no?
James
Was he?
McCarthy was a Martinez one as well. I'm going to count that as
Yeah.
a guess.
No.
That's a life lost.
Oh, I thought I'd be better at this. I'm gonna get Pienaar out of the way.
Yeah, Pienaar played. Yeah,
Um, oh, but Delafeu was the first Martinez season as well. Um, so obviously Fellaini will have been the 10, I'm guessing,
yeah.
and then 2012, 2012, who was our striker? Oh, it could be like Stephen Naismith or something, Who's 2012? Yakubu? No,
No,
too.
no, Yakubu gone by then. That's
Yeah.
one life remaining.
Oh, I thought I was gonna do better at this.
Huh.
As soon as I remembered it with the Fellaini goal, I was like, oh, well, I should be doing better at this. Um, oh, so what have I still got? Oh, striker, right wing, one of
Yeah,
the defensive midfielders, and the right back.
you got 2 defensive midfielders to get,
Oh, that's even worse.
and the whole right hand side and the
Who
striker.
was that defensive midfielder then? I feel like I feel like it was. yeah, Cahill had gone to America at this point. He wouldn't have been playing defensive midfield. Um, it's weird because it's in that weird little transition period that last year. It could be like Darren Gibson or something like that. No, it's too early for him, I feel like. Um, who did I'm gonna throw out Tony Hibbert, even though I feel like he might have retired at this point.
Tony Hibbert started.
God, did now.
Yeah, so that's a seven.
Okay. Right wingers. Right wingers. I'm not gonna lie, my brain blanks before Delafeu. Uh, um. Ah, who did we have on the right wing? Obviously, Arteta one here at this point. Um, I actually don't know what defense midfielders we had. They're like before Barry and McCarthy. I is, is this too? I'm gonna go Barkley. He might have been on the bench, so I feel like I might be able to sneak it out.
Barkley was on the bench,
Right.
so you survived. You survived. Lived to
Oh,
fight another day.
no, wait, no, is this? No, it might be Jack Rodwell. I feel like he
Jack
might have gone to City.
Jack Rodwell left that summer, so you're done.
Ah,
Yeah.
that,
So right, so you missed out on. This is still Moyes' false wingers era. So Leon Osman played out on the right.
oh, Leon Osmond on the wing, man.
Yeah, he had a brilliant game that day as well. I remember I think he hit the bar and had a few really good chances. Like I say, I remember this game
I
so
should have just
vividly.
listed Osmond, even if he could have been a sub.
Yeah. And the defensive midfielders, you said Darren Gibson, he was there by that point. He started. Um, and next to
Yeah, that.
him was the skipper Phil Neville.
Oh,
Um,
had
playing.
Neville not gone at that point?
No, this was his last season. He retired the summer Moyes left, and obviously joined him
Oh,
as
I
a
thought he
coach.
retired Moyes' last season for some reason.
Yeah. And then the striker, just off the back of a whirlwind season, Nikita Jelavic.
Of course, it was
So
Yelovich because
yeah,
he had that 6 months.
yeah. And then
I,
Naismith, as you say, was on the bench, so you would
yeah,
have survived that one. And I was convinced you were going to say Morales. Morales didn't enter your thoughts at all. Pretty sure we announced his signing that day or something like that. We
yeah,
might
I
have
like
unveiled him
for
at
some.
half time.
I remember him in that season,
Yeah,
but
that was
it's like my memories with him are
mm,
more under Martinez.
yeah. I think that's probably the case for a
Him,
lot of
like
people.
Delafeu, those players.
Yeah.
I don't know why I picture Morales. I don't. Did Morales even play on the left? I picture him more on the left for some reason.
I think he was on the right mostly that season with Pino on the left, of course,
Yeah,
but I
because
think he moved over to the left.
Or did Delafeu play on the left under Martinez?
I think it was mostly more or less left, Delafeu right
Yeah, that's
under Martinez.
like because obviously I was only like 11 at this point. So the
Yeah,
first season I can fully remember where I could tell you details of it is that Martinez season. That's
yeah,
the first, which lucky first season to fully
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
But
Not
everything
bad.
before then, it's just specific players,
Yeah,
not full 11. So Kale, Arteta, players
mm,
like that. So it's
yeah.
just little memories.
Yeah, we'll just complete the bench for a bit of fun as well. So Jan Locker, the legend from last week, was on the bench. Johnny Heitinga, Coleman, as you said, Ross Barkley, as you said, Stephen Naismith, Magai Gay, and Victor Anichebe
Yeah,
to
my
round
guy,
off the.
going to be brutally honest, can't even remember, didn't even remember that fella existed.
Yeah, I would have been
I
I
thought
would have been very
Anichebe had gone
surprised.
on his when was his little Sunderland adventure? Did we put him on a few loans before then?
Sunderland was a bit late, I think. We sold him the season after this under Martinez, and he went to West Brom for a bit. And then
Oh yeah, because he replaced Lukaku, didn't he?
yeah, I think Moyes might have signed him at Sunderland when he went there
Yeah,
a
I
few years
think it might
later.
have been Moyes, but I thought we kept him for longer. I thought we loaned him.
No, he left. Martinez got rid of him the summer he came in and replaced him with Kone. So yeah,
Oh.
so yeah, a lot of old names mentioned there, but yeah, that was not a bad shift. That's better than how he usually does, to be fair. I think you got seven, so yeah, not bad at all, mate. But yeah, thank you very much for filling in and joining me
Yeah,
on
of
this
course.
podcast. And I'm hoping your prediction's right. I'd absolutely love a win on Sunday, and a
Yeah,
thrilling game like that to properly open the ground would be fantastic.
yeah, it's gonna be. I'm telling you now, if it does end that way, it's gonna be us going 2-0 down. Fans are fuming, pelters everywhere. Get
Yeah.
one back, get two back, and everyone's like, "Oh." Brighton miss a sitter and then we end up going and nicking it off. It'd be the most Everton thing ever.
Yeah,
Or it's we go 3-0 up
yeah,
and we score two in like the 93rd and 94th minute
yeah.
and we think it's Bournemouth all over again.
Yeah, both are very Everton, absolutely. So, but yeah, so yeah, please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Comment below, giving your thoughts about last week, transfer window, and what your predictions are for Sunday and what team you'll be playing. Subscribe to the Toffee Blues channel for more Everton content, and we will see you in the next video. Up the Toffees.